Have you ever felt suddenly sad or tired without knowing why? Or those times when you're stressed, you crave something delicious, as if a mysterious voice from within is guiding you? Or have you ever wondered why some days your skin is rosy and radiant, while other days it's dull and lifeless? If you've had experiences like these, then today's video is definitely for you. Because there's a magical world, a super organ often forgotten right inside our bodies, silently controlling not only our physical health, but also our mood, emotions, and even our beauty. Can you guess what it is? Yes, it's our gut. It might not sound as glamorous as the brain or the heart, but trust me, after this video, you'll completely rethink this silent companion. Today, we'll unveil the secrets of the gut through an incredibly interesting and useful book, Gut, the inside story of our body's most underrated organ, by Giulia Enders, a young German doctor whose witty and humorous writing style has made complex medical knowledge about the gut easy to read, understand, and incredibly captivating. Many readers worldwide have exclaimed that this is a book that makes you laugh and think about a topic you never thought you'd be so interested in. One reader shared, "Enders did an amazing job explaining complex things simply and humorously. I learned so much and feel inspired to take better care of my gut." Even the New York Times remarked that Enders' wonder at the strange ways of the gut is matched only by her incredulity at the limited public knowledge on the subject. So, are you ready for a surprising journey deep inside your own body? Let's join Booksmart Insights to explore the little confessions of the gut and discover how to love and care for this second brain. Before we dive into specific secrets, let's learn a little about the book Gut, the inside story of our body's most underrated organ. Right from its release, it broke health science book sales records in Germany, was acquired by 36 other countries, and became a global bestseller. What made a book about the gut so appealing? It's thanks to author Giulia Enders' unique approach. She not only presents medical knowledge accurately, but also breathes life into it, with vivid examples, interesting comparisons, and an extremely approachable writing style. You feel like you're listening to a close friend tell a story, not reading a dry scientific document. Most of us, let's be honest, probably don't pay much attention to our gut, do we? We might know all about vitamins for good skin or exercises for toned muscles, but we're quite vague about this organ, several meters long, coiled up in our abdomen. We often simply think of the gut as a place to store food waste and aid digestion. But my friends, the truth is far beyond that. Giulia Enders firmly states, the gut is one of the most important superorgans in the body, and the only thing comparable to it in complexity and influence is the brain. Surprising, isn't it? The gut doesn't just digest food. It's also a command center, a hormone factory, a stronghold of the immune system, and even an emotional consultant for us. There's an astonishing fact pointed out by Kellogg's. If you spread your gut out flat, it would cover the area of an entire tennis court. And in that vast space, there are up to 100 trillion bacteria living, 10 times more than the number of cells in our body, and weighing up to 2 kilograms. That's an entire complex ecosystem working tirelessly. So when we say the gut is the second brain, it's not a joke or a literary metaphor at all. Let's explore this further. Did you know that if one day you suddenly feel unhappy or down without any clear reason, it might very well be your gut's mood speaking up? It sounds strange, but the gut's enteric nervous system can affect our subconscious and directly influence our mood. Our body has a hormone called serotonin, often referred to as the happiness hormone. Serotonin helps us feel happy and joyful. And guess what? Up to 95% of the serotonin produced by our body comes from gut cells. Only the remaining 5% is produced in the brain. What does this mean? It means that your joy and happiness, for the most part, are fermented and sourced right from your gut. This is why when we're not happy, we often tend to want to eat something delicious. Have you ever experienced that feeling? A piece of cake, a glass of milk tea, or a spicy hot pot seems to soothe the sadness. But do you know who decides what you crave? It's not your brain. Your gut will make demands, telling the brain what it's craving. Then, the brain receives this information and gives the final instruction for you to choose. Amazing, isn't it? Scientists have discovered an incredibly complex two-way communication system between the brain and the gut, often called the gut-brain axis. The number of nerve cells in the entire human gut is even 10 times greater than the number of nerve cells in the spinal cord. The gut can send countless signals to different areas of the brain via a major information highway, the vagus nerve. If the brain is the president working in a high-end office, the skull, then our gut is the field expert on the front lines, daily interacting with hormones, immune cells, bacteria, and collecting intelligence to transmit back to headquarters. Our ancestors used terms like heartache to describe deep sorrow. Perhaps since ancient times, people vaguely sensed the intimate connection between emotions and some organ located deep within the chest or abdomen. And modern science is gradually proving these intuitive feelings to be well-founded. Therefore, taking care of your gut isn't just about having a healthy digestive system. It's also about nurturing a happy soul and a positive spirit. As Hippocrates, the father of modern medicine, once said, "All disease begins in the gut." This saying, though nearly 2,500 years old, still holds true today. So how does the journey of food in our body unfold? And what role does each part play in ultimately creating a healthy or unhealthy gut? Let's embark on a fascinating adventure. The book, Gut, the inside story of our body's most underrated organ, doesn't just focus on the small and large intestines. Author Giulia Enders very subtly guides us from the very first gateway of the digestive system, the oral cavity. From mouth to stomach, the beginning of a journey. When food enters the mouth, it's not just simply crushed. Saliva, with its enzymes, already begins the process of digesting starch. The oral environment, the balance of bacteria here, is directly related to our immunity. Did you know that those white specks you sometimes cough up, which many call tonsil stones, are actually clumps of bacteria and food debris trapped? And they are one of the causes of bad breath. The book explains this thoroughly. Then, food passes through the esophagus, a smooth muscle tube that pushes food down to the stomach. In the stomach, the body's blender, food is mixed with extremely strong acid. This acid is so potent that, according to the Cleveland Clinic, it can burn skin on direct contact. So why isn't the stomach eroded by its own acid? It's thanks to a very effective protective mucus layer. And here, we must also mention a famous character, Helicobacter pylori, HP bacteria. The presence and activity of HP greatly affect the health of the stomach lining, potentially causing inflammation, ulcers, and even cancer. Author Giulia Enders compares small daily habits with medical knowledge and writes it all down in interesting content. For example, why do we burp? Why do we experience acid reflux? It's all explained in an easy-to-understand way. Poop, the silent messenger of health. Perhaps not many people like to talk about poop, but the author of the book, a young, beautiful German female doctor, doesn't hesitate to start her popular medical knowledge story with poop. And so will we. Because, as the author said, poop is truly innocent. Whether it stays or goes, it cannot decide for itself. Whether your poop is healthy or not is extremely important information, a mirror reflecting your internal health status. The color, shape, and smell of poop all convey their own messages. Do you know what beautiful poop looks like? According to Giulia Enders, good quality poop should be yellowish-brown due to bile pigments, elongated, soft like toothpaste, and have a smooth surface or a few slight cracks. When dropped into water, ideally, it should float a bit before slowly sinking to the bottom. This indicates it contains some gas bubbles, showing that your gut bacteria are working well and producing gas during fiber fermentation. If your poop is too hard, lumpy like goat droppings, it's a sign of constipation. If it's too loose, not formed, it could be diarrhea. Unusual colors, like black, could be due to gastrointestinal bleeding or iron supplements. Pale could be liver or bile issues, or fresh blood are all signs to watch out for and see a doctor. The sophisticated evacuation mechanism, the act of defecation, which seems simple, is actually a highly technical act, a harmonious coordination of two nervous systems and two types of anal sphincter muscles. Internal sphincter, located deeper, it operates unconsciously. When stool moves down to the rectum and reaches the internal sphincter, it automatically opens the enteric nervous system slightly, sending a sample. Could be a bit of gas or a bit of stool, down to the enteric nervous system ori cells located between the two sphincters. External sphincter, located right at the anal opening, controlled by our conscious will. These sensory nervous system cells analyze whether the sample is solid or gas. This information is sent to the brain. The brain then gathers more information from the surrounding environment. For example, where you are, if there's a toilet nearby. If the brain decides not yet, it will order the external sphincter to tighten, preventing the vanguard from exiting. The internal sphincter, the enteric nervous system, and this rejection cooperate by pushing the stool back into the rectum. This is why you can hold it in. But what happens to the nervous system if we hold it in too often? The downside of holding it in and the curse of constipation. When you try to hold it in, the external sphincter has to work hard under conscious control. It can get tired, but then rallies. Meanwhile, the internal sphincter, after being rejected multiple times, can become discouraged and lose its effective contractile motivation. The coordination between these two sphincters becomes problematic, and one of the most common consequences is constipation. When stool is retained too long in the large intestine, more water is reabsorbed, making the stool drier and harder, and thus more difficult to expel. Our gut, my friends, is very intelligent and has its own memory. It remembers eating habits, daily routines, and even the time you usually go to the toilet. If you can establish a fixed biological clock for this, the gut will operate very efficiently. But if you frequently disrupt that rhythm, it will protest, with uncomfortable symptoms, and constipation is one of them. The author defines constipation as having fewer than 3 bowel movements a week, and/or on more than a quarter of occasions, your stool is very hard, difficult to pass, or you always feel like you haven't completely emptied your bowels. Are you experiencing this? Don't take it lightly, because chronic constipation can lead to many other health problems like hemorrhoids, anal fissures, and even affect your quality of life. So, how can we rescue our gut from the haunting specter of constipation? If you're struggling with constipation, don't worry, you're not alone. It's a fairly common issue, but the good news is, with small changes in lifestyle and diet, we can definitely improve the situation. Hello, water, your indispensable nervous systemable companion. We know that healthy stool contains up to 75% water. Therefore, the first and most important thing is to ensure that you drink enough water every day. Water helps soften stool, making the vanguards. Journey smoother and easier. Remember the saying, drink enough water, have smooth bowel movements. How much is enough? On average, about 2 to 2.5 liters of water per day, depending on each individual's physical condition and activity level. Fiber, the silent cleaner and food for good bacteria. Fiber is a superhero in the fight against constipation. It acts like a broom, sweeping away waste in the intestines and adding bulk to stool. There are two main types of fiber. Type 1, insoluble fiber, often found in the outer layers of vegetables and fruits like wheat bran, apple peels, cucumber skins. This type doesn't dissolve in water, helps increase stool volume, and strongly stimulates bowel movements, pushing stool out faster. Type 2, soluble fiber, found in the pulp of fruits and vegetables like oats, legumes, carrots, oranges. This type absorbs water in the gut, swells to form a gel-like substance, helps soften stool, and makes it move more easily. At the same time, it's an excellent food source for beneficial gut bacteria, which we'll discuss in more detail later. Therefore, in your daily diet, try to eat a variety of green vegetables, fruits, and whole grains. If possible, prioritize organic foods so you can eat the skins without worrying about pesticides. A little tip is to eat the rainbow, meaning eat a variety of colorful fruits and vegetables to ensure you get enough vitamins, minerals, and fiber. Let's get moving. Activating your gut's engine. Few people realize that physical activity positively impacts bowel motility. Researchers have shown that exercise, especially moderate-intensity workouts, can promote intestinal contractions, helping food and waste move faster. Conversely, if you're a regular exerciser but suddenly stop, your gut might also become lazier. So if you're dealing with constipation and live a sedentary lifestyle, try starting with brisk walking, jogging, swimming, or any sport you enjoy. Just 30 minutes a day can make a big difference. Remember, movement is medicine. The golden toilet posture, a little-known secret. This is an extremely interesting point Giulia Enders shares in the book, and it might make many people go, aha! Our gut's contraction mechanism and anatomical structure are actually not very suitable for sitting on modern toilets. An Israeli doctor once demonstrated through experiments that the squatting posture makes defecation time shorter and much more comfortable. When we sit, the puborectalis muscle, a muscle sling around the rectum, isn't fully relaxed, creating a kink at the end of the large intestine, making it difficult for stool to pass. We have to strain more, putting pressure on the veins in the anal area, which can easily lead to hemorrhoids and even cardiovascular problems due to exertion. Conversely, in a squatting position, the angle between the thighs and torso is smaller. The puborectalis muscle is maximally relaxed. The stool's exit path becomes straighter, and the release happens more gently and completely in the enteric nervous system. So what's the solution? Do we have to go back to using squat toilets? Not necessarily. A simple way is to place a small stool under your feet when sitting on the toilet, so your knees are higher than your hips. At the same time, lean forward slightly, mimicking a skier's posture. If you don't have a stool, you can try bending your upper body towards your knees a few times and then sitting up straight. Surprising, isn't it? Such a small change in posture can bring such a big effect. Many people, after applying this tip, have found going to the toilet much easier. If you've tried all these methods and your constipation hasn't improved, don't hesitate to see a doctor for advice and timely treatment. Because, as we've said, the gut isn't just a waste pipe. It has its own brain and very distinct emotions. We've touched upon a very important concept, the gut-brain axis. This is an extremely complex two-way communication system where the brain and gut constantly exchange information and influence each other. Gut speaks brain-listeneric nervous system. As mentioned, The gut contains a vast network of nerve cells called the enteric nervous system, so extensive that it's nicknamed the second brain. This system can operate independently without direct command from the brain in your head. It controls bowel movements, digestive enzyme secretion, and many other complex functions. However, the enteric nervous system isn't entirely autonomous. It constantly sends messages to the brain via the vagus nerve, updating it on the digestive situation, the presence of nutrients, and even alarm signals when there's a problem. For example, if you eat something bad, your gut will quickly inform your brain, and your brain might trigger the vomiting reflex to expel the intruder. Parentheses. But it's not just emergency messages. The gut also sends more subtle information about its internal environment, including the state of the gut microbiota. This information can affect our mood, behavior, and even cognitive abilities. If your gut is frequently in a state of discomfort due to inflammation, bacterial imbalance, or poor digestion, these negative signals will continuously be sent to the brain, making you more prone to anxiety, sadness, or irritability. As a popular saying goes, a happy gut makes a happy mind. Brain speaks, gut responds. Conversely, the brain also has powerful effects on the gut. When you're stressed, anxious, or scared, your brain releases stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. These hormones can directly impact the digestive system, causing a range of reactions. Have you ever felt butterflies in your stomach before an important exam or a job interview? That's the gut-brain axis at work. Stress can increase bowel contractions, causing diarrhea, often called emotional diarrhea, or conversely, slow down digestion, leading to bloating and indigestion. If stress is prolonged, the brain continuously borrows energy from other organs, and the gut is often the first victim. Blood supply to the gut can be reduced, digestive activity can stall, the protective lining of the gut wall can become thinner, and immune function in the gut can be weakened. The gut microbiota, which is very sensitive to environmental changes, will also be disrupted. The result is a vicious cycle. Stress harms the gut. A damaged gut sends negative signals to the brain, worsening mood, and then stress continues to escalate. Scary, right? Notably, even after the source of stress is gone, gut health doesn't recover immediately. It needs a certain amount of time to heal and re-establish balance. The art of mindful eating. Meditation for your gut. So what can we do to break this vicious cycle and nurture a harmonious relationship between brain and gut? One of the key solutions is to practice mindful eating. There's a great saying, "Don't bring your troubles to the table." It advises us that no matter what bad things you're facing, when it's mealtime, try to put aside all worries and anxieties. Focus on enjoying your food completely, with all your enteric nervous systems. Don't bring unhappiness, arguments, or work pressures to your meals. Many people have the habit of eating while working, eating while watching TV, or even eating while crying. These habits not only prevent you from tasting your food, but also seriously harm your gut health. When your mind is stressed, digestion cannot proceed optimally. Conversely, when you eat mindfully, meaning you pay full attention to eating, chew thoroughly, and savor the taste and texture of food, you're sending positive signals to your digestive system. Your brain will instruct your stomach and intestines to secrete enough enzymes, contract rhythmically, and prepare for nutrient absorption. Especially for children, creating a happy, relaxed atmosphere during meals is extremely important. The book, Gut, mentions that a child's gut and brain develop simultaneously. Therefore, even if a child is a bit naughty, parents shouldn't put too much pressure on them, scold, or reprimand them while eating. This can create negative impressions about meals, affecting their eating habits and digestive health later on. The philosopher Thich Nhat Hanh taught a lot about practicing mindfulness in daily life, and mindful eating is an important part of it. He said, "When you eat a tangerine, just eat the tangerine. Don't think about the past. Don't worry about the future." Practicing this not only improves digestion, but also brings peace to the soul. In summary, the gut does a lot of hard work for the brain, but often does so silently, without showing off its contributions. The state of the gut directly affects the brain, and vice versa. To improve this situation, we need to learn to be calm and relax, especially while eating. Remember, a happy mood leads to good health, and good health leads to an even happier mood. This is the balanced state of living that each of us should strive for. So to have a happy gut, what should we feed it? Ultimately, for the gut, what we eat is most important. Food is the source of energy, the building material, and also medicine for the body. Let's find out what our gut really likes. The main energy trio: carbs, fats, proteins. Understanding them correctly. Firstly, carbohydrates, the quick energy source. Carbs come from fruits, vegetables, nuts, grains, sprouts, and legumes. They are made up of sugar molecules, are the easiest to digest and absorb, and provide quick energy to the body. However, because they come and go quickly, carbs are not a sustainable energy source. This is why when we eat too much white rice, a refined carb, we might feel full quickly, but also get hungry again very soon. Many people have the habit of eating a lot of white rice and cooking very salty food to help it go down. This habit is really not good. Carbs are essentially chains of sugar molecules. After entering the body, they are broken down to provide energy. The excess, if any, will be converted into glycogen for storage, mainly in the liver and muscles, or converted into fat. Advice from gut: prioritize complex fiber-rich carbs like brown rice, oats, sweet potatoes, legumes, green vegetables, and whole fruits. They release sugar into the bloodstream slowly, helping to maintain stable energy levels and are much better for the gut than refined carbs. Secondly, fats, stored energy and a friend to nerve cells usually. People who want to lose weight really hate fat, but our bodies, on the contrary, need fat. For the same weight, fat provides twice as much energy as carbs. Our bodies are very economical. They automatically store fat for when it's needed. Only when the body's carb supply is depleted does it start burning fat for energy. Not only that, but fat also surrounds nerve cells, helping to protect and provide energy for them, making our thinking sharper. This might be one reason why many students, despite eating normally and not exercising much, don't get fat, because mental activity also consumes a significant amount of fat. Adipose tissue, fat tissue, is also where steroid hormones are metabolized, having very complex endocrine functions. Some celebrities who lose too much weight experience endocrine disorders, and some even become infertile because they are too thin. This shows the importance of fat, an extremely important point the book emphasizes. Most other nutrients, after absorption, are sent via the bloodstream to the liver for inspection and detoxification. But fat, especially long-chain fatty acids, has a separate path. It's absorbed into the lymphatic system before entering the general bloodstream and reaching the liver. If this fat contains toxins or pathogenic bacteria, it can directly affect the cardiovascular system and other organs without passing through the liver's initial checkpoint. This is why the quality of cooking oil is so crucial. Many restaurants, for cost reasons, may use poor quality oil or oil that has been reused multiple times. These problematic oils, when consumed, accumulate in the lymphatic system, causing many diseases over time. Advice: choose good fats like extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil, nuts, almonds, walnuts, cashews, avocados, and fatty fish, salmon, mackerel, herring, rich in omega-3. Minimize trans fats found in fast food, processed foods, and deep-fried items. Thirdly, protein, the building blocks of the body. Protein is made up of amino acids. All the proteins we eat daily, from meat, fish, eggs, dairy, legumes, cannot be directly absorbed by the body. They must be dismantled by digestive enzymes in the small intestine into individual amino acids, which the body then reassembles into its own specific proteins. Amino acids are not only used for synthesizing proteins to build muscles and cells, but also help improve the immune system and synthesize many essential hormones and enzymes. Advice: a balanced diet with diverse sources of both animal and plant-based protein is needed to ensure an adequate supply of all essential amino acids that the body cannot synthesize on its own. Balance is key. Author Giulia Enders, like many other nutrition experts, emphasizes that the real key to health lies in balance. For modern people, eating to heal or maintain health isn't about extreme diets, like completely cutting out fat or sugar for rapid weight loss, or relying on some superfood miracle. Instead, the first thing we need to pay attention to is not eating too much. Listen to your body. Eat when you're hungry, and stop when you feel comfortably full. Second, prioritize natural, whole foods and minimize highly processed foods that contain many additives, preservatives, refined sugar, and salt. Third, balance your intake of carbs, fats, and proteins. Control refined sugar from white rice, flour, bread, pasta, sweets, sugary drinks, and instead choose natural, fiber-rich carb sources from vegetables, fruits, and whole grains. And speaking of fiber, we cannot ignore its special role, not only in combating constipation, but also as the favorite dish of the billions of tiny residents living in our gut. This is perhaps one of the most fascinating and surprising parts of gut, the inside story of our body's most underrated organ. When you look at Earth from space, you see oceans and land, but not ships or plants. Similarly, when you look at a person, you see skin, hair, and eyes, but not the billions of microorganisms living on and in their body. The bustling bacterial city. Scientists have created bacterial distribution maps of the human body, and the results show that 99% of these bacteria can be found in the gut, mainly in the small and large intestines. Among them, up to 95% are harmless or beneficial bacteria. Imagine your small intestine as a bustling city. The enteric nervous system is the mayor, and the city's residents are the gut bacteria. These residents play a decisive role in the city's development and therefore our health. We are only about 10% human. That's a figurative way some scientists describe the ratio of bacterial cells to human cells in our body. This highlights the importance of maintaining a healthy and balanced gut microbiome. The architects of the immune system. You'd hardly imagine that most of our immune system, about 70 to 80%, is actually located in the gut. The gut microbiome plays a key role in training and regulating immune cells, helping the body distinguish between friend and foe and fight off pathogens. A healthy microbiome creates a strong protective barrier, preventing the invasion of harmful bacteria and toxins. Conversely, when this microbiome is imbalanced, a condition called dysbiosis, this barrier weakens the enteric nervous system, making the body susceptible to inflammation and autoimmune diseases. The talented chefs. During food digestion, beneficial bacteria also synthesize many important vitamins that the body cannot produce sufficiently, such as vitamin K, needed for blood clotting and bone health, and some B vitamins, needed for energy metabolism and nerve function. These precious nutrients are then sent throughout the body via the bloodstream. They also help us digest food components that our bodies cannot break down on their own, especially certain complex fibers, releasing short-chain fatty acids, SCFAs, like butyrate. Butyrate is the primary energy source for the cells lining the large intestine, helping to maintain the integrity of the gut lining and possessing potent anti-inflammatory effects. Nourishing your gut residents. Fiber is number one. So how do we protect and nourish these precious bacterial residents? The answer is simple. Feed them their favorite food. Fiber, especially soluble fibers and prebiotics, a type of fiber that beneficial bacteria love, found abundantly in garlic, onions, bananas, asparagus, artichokes, etc. When beneficial bacteria eat fiber, they multiply and thrive. What's special is that harmful bacteria cannot digest fiber this way. Therefore, a diet rich in fiber from vegetables, fruits, whole grains, and legumes not only helps you fight constipation, but also directly nurtures a powerful army of beneficial bacteria, helping to balance your gut microbiome. Conversely, if you consume too little fiber and prefer meat, sweets, and processed foods, you're starving your beneficial bacteria and creating conditions for harmful bacteria to flourish. Imagine your small intestine as a barren island, deprived of fiber, full of meat and fish, which take longer to digest. This island will gradually become smelly. The environment will become toxic, and the risk of diseases like inflammatory bowel disease, irritable bowel syndrome, and even colorectal cancer will increase. As Giulia Enders wrote, almost nothing influences our gut bacteria as much as the food we eat. Prebiotics are the most powerful tool at our disposal if we want to support our good bacteria. How much fiber is enough? We need at least 20 to 25 grams of fiber per day. It might not sound like much, but achieving this isn't easy, especially for busy people who often eat out. To help you visualize, the video gave an example. In one day, you might need to eat 1 medium-large sweet potato, 30 grams of oats, 100 grams of peas, 100 grams of carrots, 200 grams of green vegetables, a pear and apple, and 100 grams of cherry tomatoes to get about 25 grams of fiber. You can use nutrition tracking apps on your phone to see if you're getting enough fiber. Besides fiber, limiting unnecessary antibiotic use is also very important, as antibiotics can kill both harmful and beneficial bacteria, causing an imbalance in the microbiome. If you must take antibiotics, consult your doctor about supplementing with probiotics, live beneficial bacteria, to help restore your microbiome. We've talked a lot about what to eat, but we also need to know when to, well, not eat anything to give our gut time to rest and clean up. The small intestine's self-cleaning mechanism. Did you know that our small intestine has a very clever self-cleaning mechanism called the migrating motor complex? About 1 to 2 hours after food has been mostly digested and absorbed, the small intestine initiates a strong wave of contractions like a sweeper, pushing all remaining food debris, bacteria, and digestive juices down into the large intestine. This process helps keep the small intestine clean and ready for the next meal. However, if you frequently snack between main meals or eat meals too close together, you're interrupting this natural cleaning cycle. The small intestine won't have enough time to sweep up, allowing debris and bacteria to accumulate, causing digestive problems and creating conditions for harmful bacteria to grow. The large intestine, the recycling plant, needs quiet. When food residue, mainly indigestible fiber and some water, enters the large intestine, it's slowly decomposed by bacteria there over about 16 hours or more. Sounds like a long time, right? Don't be dissatisfied with this slowness of the large intestine. It really has to work very hard. The large intestine doesn't have absorptive villi like the small intestine. Instead, Its surface is covered with immune cells. It needs a relatively long period of quiet to recycle what's left, absorb water and electrolytes, synthesize some more vitamins, and most importantly, allow beneficial bacteria to proliferate while controlling the number of harmful bacteria. Finally, it turns what's left into stool for excretion. The kindest way to treat our large intestine is to leave it undisturbed, not constantly bothering it by loading in new food, so it has enough time to complete its tasks. Intermittent fasting, a healthy trend. It's from understanding the gut's operational cycle that intermittent fasting has become increasingly popular and supported by much research. Intermittent fasting isn't an extreme calorie-restrictive diet. It's a scientific way of timing meals that allows the digestive system enough time to rest, self-clean, and recover. The sharer mentioned that practicing intermittent fasting helped her maintain her figure, gave her clearer, more radiant skin, and significantly improved her stomach and gut health. Her HP bacteria were gone. Of course, applying intermittent fasting needs to suit each individual's schedule and physical condition. If you're interested, find more information from reliable sources or consult a healthcare professional before starting. The book, Gut, the inside story of our body's most underrated organ, doesn't just stop at general knowledge. It also delves into answering many practical questions we often wonder about. Why do I have bad breath even after brushing thoroughly? Why do we burp or have acid indigestion? Why do we experience acid reflux symptoms? What's the mechanism of vomiting? Why can't horses vomit? Why do we get motion sickness? Is the appendix really useless? Why does it need to be removed when it's inflamed? Why do tonsils sometimes need to be removed? Why is it necessary to eradicate HP bacteria? All these questions and many more are explained thoroughly and scientifically, yet very understandably, by Giulia Enders in her book. Many readers on book forums like Goodreads have expressed a special fondness for this book. One wrote, "I wish I had read this book sooner. It explains everything so humorously and understandably, from pooping to the role of bacteria. I've changed a few small habits after reading it and feel much better." Another commented, "Giulia Enders has a special talent for turning complex science into a captivating story. Her sister's illustrations are also very cute and helpful. Of course, there are a few opinions that the writing style is sometimes a bit childish or has too many exclamation marks, but most agree that this is a must-read for anyone interested in their health." Self Magazine reviewed it as, "This primer is everything you ever wanted to know about the gut, and then some. Chattily and accessibly written in a uniquely millennial and matter-of-fact way. An unexpected page-turner." Dear friends of Booksmart Insights, we've just explored some of the fascinating and important little confessions of the gut through the enteric nervous system of the book Gut, the inside story of our body's most underrated organ. Hopefully, after today's video, you've gained more useful knowledge and a greater appreciation for this silent second brain. Remember, gut health isn't just about digestion. It's the foundation of overall health, a clear mind, and a joyful mood. As Robert Urich beautifully put it, a healthy outside starts from the inside. And that inside, for the most part, is our gut. It's time for us to listen to our bodies more, treat our gut more kindly with smart food choices, an active lifestyle, and effective stress management. A cheerful mood is the elixir of health. Eating moderately and properly is excellent medicine for health. Regular exercise is a smart investment in health. And good habits are the root of sustainable health. When you take good care of your gut, it will repay you with a healthy body, radiant skin, a balanced physique, and a spirit full of energy to enjoy life. Health will gift you a destiny filled with happiness and miracles. Once again, Thank you for spending time listening and following Booksmart Insights. If you found this video helpful, please don't hesitate to give it a like and share it with your loved ones who you think also need this information. And of course, if you're not yet a member of the Booksmart Insights family, please hit that subscribe button and the notification bell right next to it so you don't miss our upcoming videos sharing knowledge from great books. What are your thoughts on today's information? Do you have any tips for taking care of your gut? Please leave a comment below. Let's discuss and learn from each other. Wishing you all a healthy gut and a life full of joy. Goodbye, and see you in the next videos.